Hey there, my name is Whitney and thank you so much for deciding to click on my video. Thank you so much for the views. I have a really whiny dog. Do you hear that? Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about my experience at Waverly Hills Sanatorium and just giving you a little bit of a backstory. Is this real life? Okay, so I'm just going to be giving you guys a little bit of a history lesson and my experience as well at Waverly Hills Sanatorium. In case you've never heard of it, I mean, where you been, it's a pretty famous place. It is a hospital that is located in Louisville, Kentucky, which is where I'm from. It opened in 1926 and it treated people for tuberculosis, and it closed in 1961 whenever they found a cure, which was an antibiotic to treat tuberculosis. And then it reopened in 1962 and was a geriatric facility, and the state closed it in 1981. I wonder why the state closed it. I didn't find that information. But anyways, a lot of people died from what they called the White Plague. It was a huge epidemic in Louisville, and it took so many lives. If you were to get tuberculosis, the outlook was pretty terrible. You were to most likely die from it. They did try many different experiments to see if they could help the patients, but nothing really did, and they all eventually just died. I do not know how many people died there. Whenever I took the tour, they said that they had all of the records downtown and there was a flood and they lost it, so they do not know how many patients were at the hospital and how many died, but they do know that it was thousands and thousands of people that died from it. They lived a pretty terrible death. Whenever I got there, I took the mini tour. I went there on Halloween Eve. And I don't know how long the tour lasted. I want to say like 30 minutes, maybe 45. I'm not really sure. But whenever we first got there, it was my second time being there. I did go there once before for a laser light show during Christmas time, but I had never been in the building. It's a huge place. The sky looked really strange around the building, and a lot of people I knew were having trouble taking pictures. They weren't really coming out. Their electronics, like their cell phone and their camera, were acting a little bit strange. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if I believe in ghosts and all that, but I'm very open-minded, and, you know, I've never personally had an experience, but I absolutely love history, and I've always heard so many things about Waverly, and so I was like, let's go. And me and 3 girls went. I think we paid $20 to go on a mini tour, and at the time they were having a haunted house there at Waverly, but it was closed that night because it's already done and over with, because it was the night before Halloween. And there were quite a few many people that was going in there and taking tours. So we went to the side of the building and went in. And where the tour started was in the cafeteria. And they were telling us the rules, and they told us that we couldn't go into different rooms alone because it was not safe, and we could not venture off in other places. We had to definitely stay with the tour guide, and we couldn't use lights. We could take pictures, but we couldn't use our flash. And they said that we couldn't use cameras and stuff, but our tour guide did allow us to do that. But yeah, so my pictures didn't really turn out too good because we weren't allowed to use flash and all that. And the tour was very, very dark, and it was honestly really hard to see anything. As we entered the cafeteria, we talked to the lady, and she said that one cool fact about the cafeteria is that it was open 24/7, never closed. Patients could always get food whenever they needed it, because they thought that if they had a really good diet and they ate properly, that they had a better that they had a better chance of living and getting over the tuberculosis. And she said that sometimes people can smell, to this day, people sometimes smell cookies baking or bread baking in the hallway or around the kitchen area. So, I don't know.
Let me try it.
So, right now we are at Waverly Hills. There it is behind me. We're going to go on a mini tour. And we're so excited. Are you scared, Ashley?
I'm scared that I'm leaving my peanuts to a ghost.
We'll see if we see any ghosts.
Alright, let's see here.
So, I believe we went to 3 different floors. I can't remember all the floors that we went to. 2nd, 3rd, and 5th, maybe? Or, I don't know, honestly. But, on each different floor, they told us different stories. And, they started off telling us the story about Lois and Audrey.
Sister Audrey made it. She got better. She got out. Now, when the overnighters come, they almost always leave a recording device of some type in Lois's room where they go off and do their other experiments. Several times now, ghost hunting groups in different parts of the country have emailed us back. They've all captured the exact same EVP. The guys, what they capture is really quite simple. In the wee hours of the morning, when it's very calm, very quiet, they're getting one word whispered in the dark in a female's voice. It's quite simply just Audrey, her sister's name. We do believe that Lois is looking for her sister. Now this is starting to go around the paranormal community via the internet. A lot of the ghost hunting groups that show up now, they actually bring Lois flowers. They leave them for her closet. When you think about it, it's really kind of cool.
And then on the next floor, they told us about a little boy named Timmy. They don't actually think that was his name. That's just the name that they gave him. I'll insert that clip as well. I remember watching it on Ghost Hunters when he had moved the ball or something. And I also remember them recording on the heat sensor camera, a little bitty figure run across the hallway. I do remember that.
They built stuff to last. Alright, but let's go back to Timmy. So, he couldn't get her.
Okay, so as I'm like editing this video, I kind of noticed a voice in one clip. I can't ignore noise. I just can't explain it. I had Ashley, my friend who went with me, send me her clip of that video, or of that lady talking, and at first we didn't notice it in hers, but she has the same voice in hers. It's just like it's so creepy. So I'm gonna play Ashley's. She actually filmed hers on a GoPro, so we were standing right next to each other. I'm not sure what it is. Okay.
Alright, but let's go back to Timmy. So, he couldn't get the permits to tear it down.
Okay, let me know what you guys think that noise is. We both picked up the same noise, so I'm not like sure what it is.
So, the first thing they had to do was get some volunteers together to come in and help clean up. Well, as they were cleaning this floor, they found a ball in the garbage. Well, they started having a good time, goofing off, tossing the ball around. Well, when they got done, they decided they were going to take the ball, put it in a closet in one of the patient rooms. That way they could come back later and get it. They came back later to get the ball was gone. They ended up finding it in a different closet in a different room. Well, this turned into a game. You could leave the ball in one place, come back and find it someplace else. Well, the game even progressed to the point, the ball started moving floors. So when they came back in, not only were they finding it in a different closet in a different room, but the room was on a different floor. Now that's about the same time they started taking pictures, and this childlike apparition started showing up in pictures. You staying with us, Chelsea, or are you going around?
Stay.
Okay. I just wanted to warn them if you were going around. So, this childlike apparition started showing up in pictures. Now we have named him Timmy. I cannot tell you if Timmy is his real name or not. We don't know. We know children were kept on this floor, but we don't know any of their names. We just don't have those records. I'm not convinced that Timmy's a boy. Timmy could be a girl. or it could be multiple children up here playing with the ball.
Have 22 more ready to come.
And then one of the kind of like scariest stories that I think they told us was about a homeless man that got murdered at Waverly. He wasn't a patient. He was staying there. The owner knew that he was homeless, and him and his white German Shepherd stayed there, and they actually got murdered by a bunch of teenagers. And it's just one of the saddest stories, and I think that's just horrible.
Sight. He didn't really cause a problem, so they pretty much just left him alone. Well, at one point, they did come into the building, and they found this gentleman and his white German Shepherd right here in the elevator where they had been killed. Oh, wow. Now, we don't know a whole lot of details about what happened. All we know is that they say juveniles were involved, and it appeared to be ritualistic in nature. So that's all the details they will tell us. Now, it's not unusual there, well, I can't necessarily say that. I can say Tina, the owner, she has come in here before. Tina Mattingly. Thank you. She will come in. She has walked across this floor before, said she has seen a white German Shepherd curled up in a ball in the middle of the floor, asleep. When she goes to approach the dog disappears on her. Yeah.
Another story that they told us was the famous story about room 502, about the nurse that hung herself. I always heard that it was in the doorway, but she actually did not. It was outside of the room in the hallway on a light fixture. And there are a lot of different stories about this.
A story about a pregnant nurse that was found hanging inside 502. Just quick show of hands, anyone heard that story before? All right, quite a few of you. Well, it's not quite accurate. She was actually found hanging from an old light fixture right above where you're standing.
Nice.
And she wasn't pregnant, at least not anymore. It's rumored that this nurse had an affair with the married doctor up here on the property, but it got worse because she got pregnant. Now, there's two different versions to the story. We still don't know who hung her body up there to this day. The first version of the story goes, she finds out she's pregnant, she tells the doctor he doesn't want anything to do with her, so he performed an abortion on her. However, after completing the procedure, something goes horribly wrong and she ends up dying, so he hangs her body up there to cover it up. Just make it look like a suicide. No one will ever know. Second version of the story, she finds out she's pregnant. She's actually also tested positive for having tuberculosis. Being a nurse, she knows how difficult it would be to fight TB at the same time as having a healthy pregnancy, so she actually performs an abortion on herself. However, after she does that, she starts to feel pretty depressed with that decision, so she takes her own life by hanging herself up there. Following morning, a maintenance man came to work. He found her body hanging there. The current owners of the building have actually met and spoken with this maintenance man, who was able to confirm for us that he was the one that found her body hanging there and was one of the people that helped to take her down. Where you all parked your cars this evening wasn't always a parking lot. It actually used to be a washout septic area for the entire building. Each floor had its own section, and in the 5th floor sand trap, they did find the fetus. So we know those to be the facts. Sorry, I'm liking you. We know those to be the facts behind the story, but we don't know who performed the abortion or who hung her body up there. Now, in terms of paranormal activity up here, the most common reports are physical sensations. People come up here and say they immediately don't feel well, they get a headache, they feel dizzy or nauseous or a heaviness in their chest, and tons of other different physical symptoms. I'm not going to stand here forever and list them, but physical stuff is one of the most common reports up here. Now, I'm actually going to let you all explore the entire 5th floor on your own.
After we had went up and seen room 502, they let us kind of like walk around for a few minutes, and then that was the end, and we had to go down, and something really kind of scared me, and I'll let you see it. Oh, that's nice.
I didn't know the flash was on.
So after we seen the floor where room 502 was and all that, we had to go downstairs and we were allowed to look into the gift shop and everything, and then we had to leave. We were one of the last tours, and so they were closing, and so I think they were kind of just trying to get us to leave. Another thing that I forgot to tell you, whenever the tour first started, they took us into a room and they showed us a picture on their phone that someone had taken while they were on the tour. And it was two ladies and they had the windows behind them. And it was before they had actual windows. They replaced all the windows at Waverly several years ago, but it was before that. And so there wasn't a glare, but they had taken a picture and there was a face behind them. You could see it plain as day. Oh my gosh, it was so scary. And it looked so real, and it was a lady. But yeah, that was another scary thing. I mean, I didn't really experience anything. I didn't like have a bad feeling. I think it would be kind of hard to experience anything because there were so many tours going on, there were so many workers and everything. So it would be hard to like know the difference between like a spirit or a worker, like, you know what I mean? But it was kind of creepy because it was pitch black, they had no lights on. But I enjoyed hearing about the history and all that. I definitely want to go back. I know they have two different types of tours. They have the history tour, which is in the daytime. I would love to go. And then they also have their ghost tour. I think those are 2-hour tours. And then they also have one that you can stay the night there and everything. I think that would be also really neat. But like I said, I didn't really experience anything. Something kind of odd was as we was walking through, we felt like a draft, and there was windows like on the place, and none of the windows were open, but we felt like a wind inside the building, which was really odd. But it is a really old building, and I'm sure there's like cracks and, you know, weird drafts. I don't know. But yeah, it was definitely a really cool experience. I definitely want to go back. I just, like I said, I love history and old buildings and like adventuring and all of that. But yeah, that was my experience. It was a very cool one. If you guys want me to do another video about Waverly, I can definitely do that and learn more about the history and let you guys know. Oh, and I was looking it up. The geriatric hospital was shut down by the state due to mistreatment of patients, which was absolutely terrible. So a lot of people really suffered inside of Waverly. So it's a really sad place. But anyways, definitely give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I'm sorry if the videos weren't the best quality, but it was pitch black. But anyways, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!